Kim, I have never seen a church turn around without somebody acting boldly, with whether it was a decision that the church made together or just the decisions of a few folks that decided, let's go for it. Let's
Yeah.
stop just playing games. Let's stop being timid. Let's make a big move.
Right. Sometimes that happens when a new pastor comes, and there's just a real easy gel that happens right off the bat where bold moves become very possible with new leadership.
The bold moves that often happen, especially in the early days, without council action. And I've discovered that as long as we're not spending any of the church's money, usually you can get away with some of that.
Right. And I've heard that called permission giving, where if somebody gets a great idea about a new ministry or mission that needs to happen, they don't need to go to the committees or the council to get permission, especially if they've got other people rallied around it, and it doesn't need a lot of money.
So, and that is a permission giving.
Yes.
But sometimes it takes a council to make a decision to create a permission-giving environment officially.
Right.
But often it's people that just taking the initiative and then asking for, not asking for permission, but asking for forgiveness. Yeah, in order to create that culture.
Right, right.
And as we begin to see initiative take place, well, you had a story from one of your places.
Yeah, one of the places I visited this year in Belle Plaine, Kansas, 2 women just had this great idea about a community dinner.
Okay.
And so they funded the first one, put out a basket for donations. About 50 people came, they renewed relationships, they prayed for one another, and they received enough in the offering to do another meal. So,
Cool.
2 or 3 years later, now there's 200 people coming on one night a month for a community dinner. Hungry people are fed, people are prayed for, and relationships are built. Awesome story. Bold move. Didn't need permission.
Or a pastor.
Or a pastor.
There was a church that I worked with this past year that was in conflict. Imagine that.
Imagine.
And they were in a place where it was messy. All the toys were out on the floor. And in that case, we decided there were some things that needed to be done that related to some staff changes, related to church structure,
Wow.
that could have been highly controversial had everything been very
Right.
copacetic. But because everything was messy anyway, we just decided just to go for all of it and to address several difficult issues,
Wow.
and we got them addressed, and I don't think it got any messier.
Wow.
So there's a time, and making those bold moves at that point really positioned that church as they healed from the conflict to be aligned and mobilized and ready to go, and they've grown this year.
Wow.
It's been amazing. They're probably up 150 a Sunday over a year ago.
Wow.
And
So a bold move really paid off.
several bold moves
Yes. Yes.
paid off.
Yeah. Too many might be a problem.
I think it's an artfulness that we
Yes.
have to know where there's a tipping point in terms of. But in the midst of a conflict, sometimes we can get away with more bold
Yeah.
than when everything is
Peaceful.
peaceful or at least quiet.